Hello everybody, it's Honey Lou. So I'm trying to wake up. I got my Red Bull. I'm sleepy, but I'm here because I've been really obsessed with my decks and I haven't been making content for a while because basically I've seen like this train effect of everybody having tarot burnout, and that's what's been happening with me, especially with April and May, the beginning of May. Um, but it switched. I'm loving my decks right now, and so I wanted to kind of share the decks, and it's a lot, so there's going to be a lot of decks. This is probably going to be a very long video, so yeah, I don't even know where to start. Maybe okay, so I was having tarot burnout, but I was still working with decks, just a few of them, and I was keeping it very small. So I was working with the Thoth. And so this is one of the decks that I was trying to get to know because it's not my greeny, but it's still like one of those green decks. So what I was doing was I was pulling a couple cards a day, and then I would, let me check my mic. Oh yeah, it's on. I would basically just journal about it and see how this card played out through the day and see what the meaning was. And basically the reason why I am doing this is because I really want to start reading professionally, and so that's what I'm doing. And so yeah, I've been bonding with this deck. This is the deck that I gifted to a friend, and then it's the one that I missed, and so I decided to find another copy, and then I purchased it, and I still had like the same reaction to this deck. I was like, oh, I don't know if I like it. And then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try it out because I missed it and I want to see what's different, or you know, what I like about it. And it's very soft. I love this Empress card. And I don't know, there's just some really pretty cards. Like there's this one. I really like those dark borders. I like to call this deck my denim deck because it reminds me of like denim jeans. And it has like this hue of like these green, blues, grays. It's a little bit darker. Oh, I love this card so much. So pretty. And so yeah, there's definitely like a blue undertone. And okay, so we put that away. This is gonna be all over the place. It's very scattered, I am. And I've been trying to record this forever, but I've just been not doing it. Okay, I've been not happy with how it's turning out. And anyway, so this is the journal I finished, and it's pretty small. It's from Papier, and the paper is nice. That's what I love about it. I love really thick paper, and also I like really hardbound journals. And so yeah, I'm not going to show you what I wrote because it's personal. And so I decided to gift myself another journal, which I feel like is very fitting for the summertime. And I don't know, I love it. It's different though, it's soft. I usually like hardcover, but the paper is really cool. It has like the lines, and then there's some grids, and then there's some blank paper, and then I don't know, it's just cool. So you look at there's like a little flap there, another flap here. There's no pockets, but this, I don't know, it made me really inspired. So I wanted to get it. I think it's so cute. I love it. Okay, hold on. Okay, and then, oh man, I forgot her name already. Okay, so I've been practicing saying her name. Hetaine. Hetaine? No, it's Hatanine. Hatanine Grobler. Hatanine Grobler. Sorry, I fucked up already, but this deck is so good. I've had this Oracle deck, or it's basically a deck, but it's like all these archetypes of different goddesses, and so it's a really good way to kind of step like your toes into, you know, the deities and the goddesses and Mary. And yeah, it took me a while to want to read this book, but I think it was because I needed to kind of learn more and master the tarot a little bit more, but now I really love it. But I did the little soap trick with this deck, and I fucking love it. It's so glidey, and I can't show you because I'm showing my face today, but oh, I love it. And so I've been just pulling a card a day, and then sometimes if I'm feeling very ambitious, I'll pull 2 cards. But I do like to kind of just think about each of these archetypes and these statues and these shrines. And then I think that Hetanine is like, this is like a passion project of hers, and she's very passionate about like these different deities and these shrines and like the symbolism. What I love to do is I love to read the story, and I like to see how she kind of got that for like the Seven of Wands, or if she got that for the moon. And it's very clever. So there's like 2 different ways you could use this. It could be like an altar deck, or you could use it as a tarot. But I'm getting the hang of it, and I'm excited to use it. And then I love these black edges. So I was talking on Tarot Maps and Tarot Shrink, Natalia and Kasha. We were talking about pet peeves, and I was talking about like I don't like black borders. I still don't like black borders for some reason. Like I have a hard time pairing black and black together because I feel like that's just not really my soul. It's just not like me really. But it's different. It's different with this deck because it's done beautifully. But I just still don't like to pair black and black together. And I think those are just decks that are kind of hard to pair. But this one, I've been finding some really good pairs with this deck. Especially with the Grand Tarot Baleen. I've been loving this deck. And this one, I've been having so much fun pairing it with other decks. Oh, I love this. Look at the long torsos with the short legs and the cute little horse. This deck, I feel, is very inspiring. I really like the colors of like the color palette. So it has like this limited color palette, but also it has like, I don't know, really cheerful, fun colors. I really love the pentacles in this deck and like the little blush. Oh, it's so cute. So yeah, I definitely get really inspired using this deck, and I'm happy that I'm bringing it out. And it's really big, so I'm only able to shuffle like this. And I'm actually able to shuffle it like this, but it's a big one. But I just figured out I was able to do it, so I could just do it like that. And then voila. So yeah, I do have some favorite cards. I think the line work is really beautiful in this deck. Like it's very careless, but also very intentional. Easy to read. Oh, I love this card. I really love the Pentacles. Let me just show you some of my favorite cards. This Fool, I think this is like one of those iconic Fools. This Page. The Court cards are really beautiful. Everything about this deck is beautiful. I don't know what I'm talking about. But it's not like a very traditional Marseille because the lines are different. So it has like this esoteric astrology thing going on. Maybe it's, I'm kind of guessing it's kind of like the Grand Tarot Esoterico deck in a way, but I haven't really done the research to kind of figure that out. But I just know that they're not traditionally, you know, placed where they usually are in most of these pips. But this deck makes me smile. It's very detailed. I love her too. And I've been learning astrology too. I'm very beginner, and there's so many layers with astrology, but that's been helping with my readings a lot too, and kind of understanding tarot more. So it's been really fun. And this is my favorite card, the Queen of Cups. Okay, so we got 3 decks down. I got the new Pocket Archetypes deck. I freaking love this packaging. I thought it was so cute, so I had to get it. And I love this deck in general. And this is actually pretty readable for me anyways. Oops. Can you see that? But anyways, I have pretty good eyes. I have stigmatism and I have lazy eyes. But for the most part, I have pretty good vision. And what I was really excited about this deck is that it's very glidey. It's not sticky like the big one, but I do love the big one. So the big one is going to be my deck for myself. Yeah, I have the camera this way because I don't want you guys to see my son's mess over there. But yeah, I love this deck. It's one of my favorites. I really like oracles in a tin. I feel like oracles in a tin are a lot better than tarot in a tin. But so I was really inspired with this deck. So this is going to be like the one I work with other people with. And then this one is my study deck and this is my deck. And so I just finished soaping this deck. So this is very glidey too. I've been obsessed with the soap. And I soaped both sides and I decided to write all over this and finish the writing. And then I soaped it. But I think, yeah, this is definitely like one of those essential oracles in my practice. It's very versatile, and one thing I love about this one too is that I've noticed a lot of more symbolism in the smaller one than this one, probably because it's so big and I don't really know what I'm looking at. But I like how that one zoomed out and I started to notice a lot of things and I'm like, is that a new card? And then it wasn't because I would come back and look. But so it's been really kind of changing my perspective and seeing things from a different view, and I love the bridge card. Unconditional love. And this is the one that I was like, it looks different. So it looks more sharper in the pocket edition. But I like these backs. I don't think these look blurry. To me, I feel like they just look grainy. And I feel like that's kind of the whole ordeal. And I feel like maybe she like actually colored these herself. Like it's an actual drawing, a pencil drawing. That's what I'm assuming. But we don't know. Okay, and then I'm obsessed with the Cosmic Wisdom Tarot. I love it. It's not my usual aesthetic. I was watching one of Kesha's videos. It was with James Wanless, and there was something that James Wanless really talked about, and he was talking about how everybody was more focused on the history or the past and not the future, and he was talking about tarot and stuff, and I was like, oh, that's kind of a good, good thinking, because I feel like also like learning about tarot history and experiencing like historical decks is very, like I've learned a lot from doing that, and I shouldn't touch that. But now I feel like I'm kind of like in that mood where I'm like, okay, I think I want to start to get in style with the tarot, what's out now, what the modern decks are. And this is one of those decks that makes me want to kind of explore more modern decks. And I feel like I'm very traditional with and it could be just because I was a beginner for, a couple of years, and now I feel like I'm able to, but I don't know, this is a really good storyteller. I don't even know what I was going to say now because I got excited. Look how beautiful that is. And also this deck I soaped again. It wasn't that sticky, but it did have some friction where it was kind of annoying. And the soap was working on like this gold edges. I like that little purple. So the soap works for anything that's sticky. Oh, I love it. I love it. It's so good. It's a storyteller. And the colors, there's so much more than meets the eye. And you're not going to know unless you got this in your hands. This is probably, definitely one of my favorite modern decks right now. I'm so happy I backed it. I can get lost in these cards. And there's so many symbolism. So Ethne did a really good job. Like I didn't really think I thought it was just a Rider-Waite Smith clone, but there's like little hints of like her own symbolism, and I love the Lover's card. I like that duality. And the colors are beautiful. But I was looking in the guidebook and I noticed how like really clever her symbolism was with just certain things that I wasn't really paying attention to, but now I was like, oh, okay, that's why that's there. The bubbles, one of my favorite cards, and it's also on the packaging, and this is probably my favorite card in the whole deck. There's something about him. Man, I hope my stuff isn't so blurry. I feel like everything's blurry. And I really love this Ten of Swords with all the color. So this has like a matte feel, but it's, I don't know, it's nice. It's really nice. Oh yeah, mine is already starting to chip. But if I learned that soap trick before this wouldn't be as chipped, because the friction was causing the chipping and the scratches. It has like these beautiful edges. So I'm just obsessed with modding and soaping my decks right now. Okay, and then I got another deck that I love. So this is the Queer Tarot. It's by Ashen Chest, it says there. So when I opened up this tuck box, as soon as I touched the cards, I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So this feels like an indie deck. And I kept talking myself, I was in Barnes & Noble and I was like, no, I don't need to get this deck, I'm on a budget. And I really wanted to get the oracles because I feel like the oracles are something that I'm lacking in my collection after I got rid of a bunch of decks. And then I was able to work with decks and kind of figure out like what else did I need in my collection. And then, but it's Pride Month, and I was like, oh, this would be a really good time for me to get this deck. And then I was sitting there for like an hour just talking myself out of it, and like, no, I don't want it. And I was like, I want it. And I'm like, no, you don't want it. I want it. And then I finally just like, you know, I'm gonna get it. And this was probably one of my favorite things that I got. And I don't think this deck gets raved enough on YouTube because this deck is the shit. The color palette. And then I thought like maybe the line work was going to be like a little bit too lazy, and like the coloring was like probably not, I like to see texture and I like to see different blendings, and this deck has like that spray paint effect, and I think the line work is incredible. Also, this like gives me a lot of nostalgia feelings with those flowers, the colors. I'm a hippie at heart. And the orange colors, my favorite orange color, like all of this palette, like this color palette in general is my favorite. And I wouldn't necessarily like say this is more like it feels like a pride, you know, queer deck. It actually feels like a very versatile friendship deck for me. So I could see myself working with this deck all the time, and I love this. So if you're gonna change the Queen of Wands to a man, do it right. And this is right. I freaking love this. It's so good. And there's so much detail. It's easy to read. It makes me happy. And I love this card too. I love the plants, the choices of plants. And so that makes it feel very modern. You ever see like those houses where people like have just plants everywhere and it feels very just earthy and clean and modern? Well, this is how that deck feels like too. It feels very clean, modern, colorful. It looks colorful, but when you're using it, it's, I don't know. And I love this outfit. I love that shirt and those shoes, like Dr. Martens, like platform. I would wear those. I would probably wear this outfit. I would. And I could see myself wearing these outfits. Because sometimes I just like to look fly. Look at that. I love that. The colors. She's a beautiful woman. I love those lips. The star card's one of my favorite cards. And I love this card so much. Look at all the texture, the blending. Her lips look beautiful. I really hope my video isn't, and look at this, looks very hippie. I'm worried that my video is not zooming up correctly. I love this King of Cups. I like the outfit and the sass. And I could see like this as somebody I know. Like this, I feel really related to this deck, especially with like this outfit too. And this is cute. I could see myself wearing these outfits. I really like to wear colorful sweatpants and stuff, and a matching set is always fun to wear. I love the flowers in the back of this one. And this is cute. And this is my favorite card in the whole deck, the Empress. I love the plants, the colors, her outfit, her orange lips, and her hair. I could just like stare at this card all day. It's probably my second favorite Empress card. The Thoth will always be the first, but this will be my second. This deck just feels really good. It feels like this, it's like this rubbery matte feel to it, but it feels high quality, but also it's gonna last and it's gonna age very well. But yeah, I love it. I love it, love it, love it. It's really good. Look at this King of Wands. He's so cute. And I love the Jesus angel man. I love the little kitties. Yeah, I can't get over it. I'm so happy I have this in my collection. The guidebook is pretty basic. It's so Rider-Waite Smith, you really don't need the guidebook. But anyways, yeah, I soaped this deck too because it did have like a little friction and I didn't want to ruin the edges, and so now it glides really good and I could just sit here all day and look at these cards. They're good. Obsessed. Okay, and then so I got the Earth and Bone. This is usually not my aesthetic either, but I've heard so much good things about this deck. So it's Oracle Honor the Concepts of Rebirth and Transformation by Syrian Shadow. And I was very drawn to this deck. And look at the packaging. It looks with these little thumbs. It feels very indie to me. I heard people had some problems with the cardstock. So it feels really good in the hands. And the gilding's really beautiful. So I'm just not going to, I'm not going to riffle shuffle this deck. Because I did have some rock pool decks and they are not good to riffle shuffle. Like these don't age really well. So I'm going to be very careful with this deck. And I think it looks beautiful with these backs. These fronts are really beautiful. I was trying to find pairings last night with this deck, just for funsies, and I found that like Marseille decks really pair well with this deck, also with Thoth, and but like the gold of this deck is, you would think it's the artwork, but it's really the writing. Syrian's writing speaks to my soul, and he's an empath. He's very wise. I really love this deck. So, okay, so after I left Barnes & Noble, I got these decks, and then I looked at all my decks, and then I shuffled this, and I pulled the card, and I read it, and it was like right on point because I was feeling guilty about spending money. And then I pulled the money card, and then it was just kind of like this nice perspective of, you know, clarity, like to not worry about spending money on these decks, and I'm on the right track and money's coming, and keep going, you know? And I feel like this deck is very balanced for, like, it has like, it has this like gothy vibe, but it doesn't feel very gothy to me. It feels very elegant and not really shadowy either. But I mean, it's dark, but I mean, it feels very versatile. So I feel like, yeah, this deck definitely is a manifesting kind of deck. I don't know, he just spoke to my soul, and I'm obsessed with his art and his work and his writing now, and I'm really happy that I got this deck. And it's so cool. I wish I can get the indie version. I like this mass market version one. I think it's really pretty with the borders, the backs, the gilding, the cardstock. I mean, I wouldn't like this cardstock on like a tarot deck, but on an oracle deck, yeah, it's good. Like this feels really good. And but I would love to get the indie one, but I doubt anybody would ever give that up because I think this oracle is amazing. It's very well done. Okay, so what else? I got a new Thoth deck. So I had I'm starting to get a headache. I'm trying to find it. Okay, well, this is a 1986 deck. This is a small, this is a backup copy, so I've been hunting on eBay for a decent price for this deck because my Fool got wrecked. And so I got this one and I paid $60 for it. It didn't have a case for it, but it came with the guidebook. And so I was comparing this deck with my other 1986. They're the same size, but the funny thing is that like this font is a little bit more thinner. And yeah, the guidebooks are exactly the same. And this cardstock is thicker. So I kind of went like this, to see how much cards thicker it was, and it's 11 cards thicker. And so it's crazy how they were exactly the same packaging, everything, guidebook, and this one has like more of like a yellow kind of off-white border. But I really do like this deck. I actually put the other one away, and this is my new workhorse deck. And then if I destroy a card in this one, then that one will be my replacement one. Or if I ever find like a 1986 replacement cards, if somebody's selling them, I'll probably just buy Fool for that one. But I bought Mod Podge, and I was going to Mod Podge that card, that Fool, because it's still workable. I just don't like creases in my decks. I think this card's really beautiful. It has like this blending, it's very saturated, but it's also very like 3D, and I love this Empress card, and I think she looks so beautiful. So I'm obsessed with this deck. And what I like about the 1986 is the borders. So you're not going to see it, but there's like this pointy border, and there's some with the ovals, which I think the ovals look really good too, but there's something about like this feels very hand cut, especially when it's like very proportionate around the edges. Like, I'll show you. My Noble, this deck by Cartogram. I don't know, I just pay attention to stuff like that. I'm always really into the details of cards, and you see how these corners are really close to the edges and lightly rounded. I think that makes the deck look really cool. I love this deck a lot. I soaped this deck too. It's so fun to work with. Look at the blues. And it has like this metallic feel to it. And it smells really good. This is cute. Yeah, I can go on and show you guys my decks and just be so happy. Because I mean, like, I don't get tired of these decks. Why would you guys get tired of these decks, right? I love that one. So yeah, my obsession. I love pairing this deck. I love finding pairs for this deck, and I don't know, it's so fun. That's it. It reads well. It's my favorite. Marseille. I love Cartogram. I love Agnes. She's so great. She makes the best high quality decks that I know of so far. I'm still waiting for my Tarot Graphe deck. So that's kind of like where I got the soap idea from, but when I got this deck, Cartogram or Agnes sent me a soap with it. And so I didn't really know what to do with the soap at first. I actually kind of put it in my bathroom and started washing my hands with it. And then I figured it out and I'm like, oh, okay. So then I only washed my hands one time. I'm like, oh, my hands are dry. So I was like, I'm not using that. And then I figured it out and that's what it's for. I got this Oracle, the Begin Oracle. I love the bigness of this deck. I actually kind of bought this recklessly, but I love it how big it is. It's this analog, or no, it's kind of like this mixed media collage drawing kind of deck. Actually, a friend gave this to me. I told him I wanted it, and then he got it for me. So thank you. But yeah, I love it for that reason. So it has meaning. I love this card. And I really like the guidebook. So the guidebook is like this magazine kind of thing. And I really like the messages. I think the messages are really good. I just haven't really worked with this deck yet because I have so many other decks that I'm working with and I don't want to like burn myself out or like forget what I'm working with or forget the cards I'm working with because I don't want to get too distracted. But ever since I started to work with Dirt Gems, which I will show soon, I started to like kind of really understand how to work with oracles. For a while I didn't really understand Dirt Gems in general, but that was kind of me being arrogant and me really just not understanding because I just didn't understand. I love this honey card. I pulled this last night. So I was playing with pairs. I'm not too sure how I like the whole different mixed media, but I think it's cute. It's very modern, and the packaging is really cute. The guidebook has good messages, and this deck looks so beautiful in the daylight. Oh, I love it. Ooh, it's so pretty. Okay, so this one I actually was trying to film last night and it annoys me when I can't show the right coloring of this deck because it looks really dark and purpley, but in the daylight it just has like this beautiful neon. It really makes, okay, so at the dark, when it's dark out, these colors don't show in the dark. And then when it's bright out, these really pop out and you can't really, they're not visible. And that's what iridescent does. And so it's really cool. And I love how like lush this deck feels. Ugh, yeah, it's so good. This deck is like very carefree. It feels like a free spirit. It's so fun. And this deck has a good personality. And it's very mystical, but also it's careless. It's relaxed and fun, and that's what I like about it. I feel like it's just a fun deck to have, but it's one of my favorites for sure. It has like this different energy, and so like these, you see how these really pop out, like these colors. These don't pop out at nighttime. They actually kind of just sink in and you just see like a hint of color. But right now you could see how really poppy they are. And these colors look white, but there's like sometimes when you get like this different lighting, you will see like this purple color. So it has like this purple undertone and it's really hard to see it, but you could see it sometimes. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to show you it. But yes. Carol Herzer is an amazing woman, and I'm a big fan, and I respect her and honor her work. And I think this deck, it's like having a painting in my hands. And I think her price range is worth it for what she's doing with the decks. it's totally worth it. Actually, I think people should be paying more for these decks. But she, knows the market and knows people have issues with paying that much for a deck. So, that's kind of, she's just going with the flow and she's just doing what she loves. And that's what's really special about it. I love this card. But honestly, she can get away with spending more, and I would totally respect her for that. And I respect her for now because, these are semi-affordable for me. It's doable. Sometimes it's kind of like, I don't know, but I love it. I want to experience it. This is like something that, a lot of people, I don't know, it's just like this weird experience, and I'm grateful to be able to experience a deck like this. I love this. This is definitely like one of my summer decks. Like, I love going outside and looking at it and playing with it and reading and taking photos of it. I love this Hermit card. This one too. And this is my favorite card. And this one's my favorite card. This one has been like really catching my eye lately. I love those little hints of colors everywhere, especially like this like flowiness right there with the lighting. I have a lot of favorite cards in this deck. This one too. I love this one a lot. So I want to show you guys this, since I'm looking at this Ten of Swords, I want to show you the Sirian Starseed Tarot. This is my summer deck too. I love working with this deck in the summer. Especially just feels so good in the hands. I wanted to try out the soap on this deck because it does have like a stickiness, but look how big it is. Like, look how cool I look. It's so big and luscious. Okay, this is the Ten of Swords. Look how pretty. I love it. I think they work well together. But anyways, yeah, when I first saw this deck, I saw someone working with it and they were just shuffling it. And I just thought that was the most beautifulest thing to see, was this big old deck. And I think there's like a really big oracle out now. Like, there's something about having these big cards. And I think it's so worth working with a big deck like this. There's something about the energy, and these cards are amazing. Mine's pretty used. I love her. She's beautiful. Something about this deck, it's so elegant and grounded, but it's also very starseedy with, spiritual, but it just feels very grounded to work with. I love everything about it. I love these backs. I wish this deck was still in stock. I love the guidebook too. The guidebook's really good. It's very, kind of gives you space to kind of use your own intuition, which is cool. And then here's my other greenie that I've been working with the most. This is like my go-to greenie. Do you guys really need to see it? So this deck, and I've been pairing it with this one. And the reason why is because I was inspired with this card, the coloring, and this one has like the same coloring, and also like with the Empress card. So I feel like these decks really work together. Yeah, but this is probably my most used deck right now. I retired my other greenie. I want to copy the other greenie and at least save it, because if I don't ever get a greenie like that one, then I probably, you know, I want to make sure I repurpose the images and the colors and keep it for my own personal use. And I got some good stuff going, planning for that other, my deck, my greenie, which you will know in fall about it. But look how beautiful these cards are. These are so fun to take pictures of because like the colors change. Sometimes you could really see like that, the teal in the deck and the blues, and oh, look how beautiful. Eee, I love her. She's so beautiful. Yeah. You know, after all these years, you'd think I would get sick of this card, but I have never got sick of this deck, ever. And I just keep buying more decks to kind of, you know, enjoy it. So yeah, this one has been like one of my main decks, these two together. And this one is very well done. So Carol did a really good job with the coloring, the blending, the glitter. And this deck changes color because it has like a lot of the iridescent, like how this one does. So this one switches colors. Like sometimes you'll like the oranges will really enhance, the pinks and the blues will like kind of like neon colors, especially like this pink color will definitely, I love the blending. Like you could see how it gets really bright. I love this High Priestess. So you see how light it is there, but then you turn it and see how much darker it is. You see all that detailing? It's so nice. Yeah, I'm really proud of this deck. I'm happy I have it. She did a lot with this one. I feel like she took her time with this one. And yeah, this one was pretty expensive. This one has the iridescent, fluorescent, glitter, pearlescent backs. They're just pearl color. And this was over $700. I love those swords. So I mean, like paintings, you know, when you buy like an art canvas, yeah, I was looking at some restaurants that sell them. They're like $6,000, and I think that's worth it, you know, like, so I'd never question the prices she asks for these decks. Because that's how it feels. It feels like an actual painting in your hands, and you get 78 paintings. I think that's incredible. I would know. Wow, I love that. Look at those details right there. So now you can see why I'm super obsessed with my decks. Okay, and then I've been finally working with this deck. This one I love so much. I love the backs, and I love that they're inconsistent. Like you could see the paint strokes, and you could see that there's some lighter like spots, and it's very glittery. This is a summer deck. I love this deck. So this one has like really nice lines. It's very sharp. It's not as like soft and mystical as this one. It's just easy to see what's going on, but it's like this super colorful, magical deck. And I love to pair this deck with the Queer Tarot. For some reason, these two really, they like mute each other, like they mute each other, which is weird. So they're both two bright decks, but for some reason you see how this one kind of mutes it and it's not so bright. But this is my favorite pairing right now. All that glitter. This is the glitteriest deck that I own. The back looks beautiful. I love this card. And I love to just go like this and really look at all these colors. It's so cool. There's something about colors though that really inspire me, and I feel really connected to colors. Okay. And I wanted to show, well, so I've been pairing the Cozy Witch Tarot with the Cosmic Witch, or the Cosmic Wisdom Tarot, and these two pair really good together. I'm not going to be able to show you, but I could show you a couple cards. But these two work very profoundly. Two of my favorite modern decks right now. And they look so good together. So this one definitely reminded me of the Cozy Witch Tarot. And I love to read the sayings and then read this, and it's profound. I was trying to show Natalia and Kasha about it, and they just were like, I don't want it. And I'm like, I just want to talk to somebody about it. And they wouldn't talk. They're just like, no, don't sell it to me. I don't want it. But they're missing out. Missing out on amazing deck to match their Cozy Witch Tarot. These both feel very earthy and grounded. They both tell a story. They are honest and safe. I love this card. Oh my gosh. Let me put it with another favorite card, like this one. So yeah, the color palettes really work together. And then, so I got a gift. Gifts from a lovely friend in the tarot community, Maria. I'll link her Instagram down below, but she's really nice. She's like one of the first one of the first person that I kind of knew in the tarot community when I first kind of started to go in. I met her through Tarot Marketplace, I think, I don't know, but she was one of the first people that I talked to, but I was super stoked because she sent me her crocheted bags. And these are the favorite parts, these ones. But look how beautiful they are. And I've always wanted crochet tarot bags. And so these are my first, and I'm super stoked. But anyway, so look at the color. And this deck right here, I never could find like a bag for it, or it always just had a loose bag. It was always a loose deck. Look at the perfect. It's so perfect. I love it. So I'm happy about that. This is one of my favorite oracles of all times now. I studied this deck. I've worked through the whole entire guidebook. I think it's profound. It's about spiritual awakening. It's about mythology. Yeah, everything. It took me a couple years to get to know this deck too. I just wasn't ready, but now I'm ready, and I'm very determined to get to know this deck and actually keep it in my, one of my most used decks. So this is good for like transformation, also healing, alchemy, self-care. Also, this is pretty good for doing relationship readings and situations. So this is very versatile. And the guidebook is really good. This is it just holds a lot of wisdom. And it's very funny. I want to still try out the sun. These are so funny, like the titles. I want to try the spread where it has all the chakras. I love this card. And this is funny, Dangerous Pussy, the past. I love this card. It's probably my favorite card in the deck. But yeah, this is gold. This is gold right here. Essential. This deck is always safe in my collection. And then so she got me this. And then what was really cool is that she sent me a Thoth deck. And this is the Dutch. It's a Dutch 1996 small deck. So it's a vintage deck. And so it comes in this packaging. And it has an oval back. But what I love about this deck is the fronts. So the fronts are very proportionate, like as much as a greenie. The 1986 chops up some of the, like around it, or they either kind of squish it down just a little bit, but it's not very noticeable. And one thing I didn't, so when I had this deck, it was my first small vintage deck, and I was like, oh, it would be kind of cool to get a small one that was very light in color, and I don't know, something that's just more light, because sometimes this darkness, like it has this vibrancy, and some cards are really beautiful, but sometimes it's too dark for me. And then, so I got this, and this is it. This is the deck that I've always wanted. And so this has been like my workhorse deck. This deck travels with me everywhere I go. It looks exactly like my 1996 Thoth. And as soon as I got this deck, I was obsessed with it. Like, I was so in love with the colors. And you see these have like the oval rounds, but it's very proportionate. The backs look really beautiful. But it's really funny how this one doesn't have the same backs. So I really like this edition though. The backs don't bother me, but I just think that's kind of like one of those like cool things about it. It makes it, you know, it just makes it funky but cute and perfectly imperfect, I guess. But I really love the blues, the greens, the oranges in this deck, the purples, and same with this one. This one is, so this one kind of looks a little bit smushed down in a way, but not that bad. This one's actually really good. But these ones look as proportionate as like the greenies. So the greenies are very nice, proportionate. You know, they're long, lean. This shows all the symbolism. It's so easy to see what you're seeing. So this one is I bought this replacement card because I thought this was the 1986 version for this one. But then I found out it was the 1996. And then so I just stuck this card with this deck. But I really love the colors. I love the cardstock. It feels very flexible, so it was easy to break in. It feels very durable, and I'm stoked that I have a Dutch vintage Thoth, so I could kind of compare these together, how they look alike. And I really love the Pentacles. So this is my favorite card in the deck, the Ten of Pentacles. And I really love this card with the purples. This Sun card. So this deck I plan to be like my go-to deck, or like the deck that's my workhorse deck, the deck that I'm going to use the shit out of and like want to use it, want to dishevel it. It's already broken in and it didn't take very long. But it's one of those decks that I'm gonna have fun really using it. And so I chose to put this deck in this bag because it gives me memories of this awesome gift that I got from Maria. So thank you, Maria. And I love it. I love it, I love it, love it. So cool. And then she also gave me this cool book that I'm going to translate. So this is the Tapestry Tarot book. It's really big. It's in different language, but I could use like that Google where I'm able to take a picture of it and then translate it. And so I plan to do that. And I think this looks really good. So there's a lot of information in here. It's very esoteric. And so this will be a really fun deck to, or this book to study, and also the deck, and very in depth. And then I want to use my Grand Tarot Baleen and transfer these. So I'll probably be working with these two together eventually. I'm excited about that. But yeah, this is a hunky-dory, very rare book that she gifted me. And did I talk about this one yet? No. So this is a 1969 one JJ Swiss. One thing that's cool about this deck, it's always on different shows. Like I've seen this deck a lot on different movies. And then when I saw it on Bewitched, the 2005 with Nicole Kidman, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to get this deck. And then after that, I was kind of like, oh, I'm obsessed with it now. And ever since I kind of, I don't know, it grew onto me. I thought this deck would not be a deck that I would actually feel like I needed, or I could, I don't need it. I wasn't, but it's a very important part of history. So I chose to get it. I love that I got the 1969 version, and it comes in this cool like little thing. And I was like, ooh, I bet the cardstock's really nice because it's from 1969, and this one's really good. So these are pretty close in cardstock wise. This one feels amazing. This one feels amazing. And what's cool about the JJ Swiss though is that it is it's still really cheap to get, very affordable. I only paid $30 for this. And I love the brown edges. I cleaned mine up, so I wiped it down because it had like that dusty feel to it. But it's in very good condition, and it's a little bit smaller. And I noticed that the smaller or the vintage editions are a little bit more muted compared to the mass market. I think the mass market's a little bit more longer tarot, standard tarot size. This one's small and it feels really good, and it's very papery. I love the way this deck smells too. I love this card. This was one of my favorite purchases of the month as well. So I've been doing a really good job with picking out decks. Really happy, instant connection, and sometimes that's really rare because there's like times I'll like obsess over a deck and then I will buy it, and then once I get it, I don't have no passion for it. I'm like, oh, well, that's it, done with that deck. But this one, I love to work with it. I love to play with it. And I fell in love with, so the Knights are my favorite. I fell in love with the Wheel of Fortune. I really love this card too. I think this is a really beautiful deck, and I'm happy that it's in my collection. Oh, I love the fold too. The fold's so cute. Okay, here's the Wheel of Fortune. I think it's very, very nice. The Bewitched version has like this really cool border on it. I would love to get that one. It looks a little bit smaller than this one too. But this is good. This cures that craving. And so I have to put the deck in like this. Okay, and then I was working with this deck as well. That was like in the beginning when I was kind of having tarot burnout. This was one of the decks that I chose to work with. And Dirt Gems, I was putting out on Facebook Market recommendations for oracles, and then a lot of people recommended this deck to me, and so I read it, I worked with it, and I love it. So I feel like maybe I wasn't ready for it, and that was just pure arrogance of me saying that I don't understand the guidebook, because now I understand it. It's a little bit different, but before it was like I was always trying to find like that gold nugget in the message. What was the divination meaning? I didn't really understand what the card was trying to tell me, but now I do. And so when I read it now, it's really cool because now I could see growth. I see how much I've grown, how much I've learned, how much I understand things. And I always feel like I'm kind of a slow learner. But I've been really taking this in and everything's been absorbing. This artwork is beautiful. I was almost going to sell this deck and I'm so happy I didn't because I love the indie version. The indie version is always very special to have. You know, getting to have that first, one of the first, this is the second. I think the first edition looks really beautiful. I love those backs. But the symbolism is very clever. It gives you like little things to go off of and to read intuitively. If you read the guidebook, you'll understand it more. And this is cute. I love all the cards though. They're all so cute. I just want to show you my favorites. I love this card. And this one. This is my favorite card. The Iris. And everything's like I would pull a couple cards a day and then I would journal about it and then I would see how it kind of played out through the day as well. And it seemed to be it resonated all the time, and there was like very profound readings with it. Animal Spirit, I got to know this deck a lot. I worked with this deck many times, and it's one of my favorite decks. And I really love this little pamphlet. It makes it so much easier to work with, but I've been using the guidebook. The guidebook's here too. And I'm very precious with that guidebook. Most of my decks are my books. I like to highlight them, but this one I won't. This one's precious. It's just, I don't know, I just love Kim Krans, everything. I love this deck. It always seems to resonate. Ooh, a spider. Ah! Yeah, I like the way it sounds. This has like the best sounding deck. It's matte. It feels like an archetype deck, but for animals. Animal spirits, but archetypes for animals. It's really cool. I could relate to the cards, and it's good to do for relationship readings or kind of just the energy surrounding the whole situation. And it's fun to do like a pick of cards, and I don't know, I just love it. Pairs well with everything. Okay, and then I was working with the Playful Heart Tarot for a minute. Ever since I got the Queer Tarot, this kind of been sitting out, but I was really enjoying my time with this deck this month. And I started to read the guidebook, so for a while I wouldn't read the guidebook because it's very it's the expressions are correct and it's so easy to read intuitively, but I was just very curious to see what she wrote about everything, and so I learned more about the cards with reading the little companion book. And this is a shadow work deck. It definitely is. This would be one of my favorite shadow work decks to work with. And I could relate. It's watercolor. I love anything watercolor. Pairs well with everything. I love pairing it with Thoth because Thoth is a watercolor. Especially this one right here, this German Thoth. It's really cute together. I won this deck too, so it's special. I think it's my favorite Kitten Chops deck. I want to like pick her brain. I just want to like understand what she's thinking because she's so unique. There's nobody like her. Like she's very like Like she has that childish wonder and she just embraces that child. And you could see it in her artwork. And this is like her passion of all this stuff, you know? And I think that's really beautiful. And she's a very rare creator. I wonder if she makes children's books. But I love this. It all relates. And it's a little bit sexy too. Like it's very sensual, especially with the Queen of Wands, where she's topless. And just like the cute little boy crushes, and it's cute. Yeah, but I found the guidebook to be somewhat like very straight to the point, clear cut, harsh, shadowy. It kind of just tells you right to your face, and that's probably why I love it too. It makes me love it even more when oracles, or you know, when it's not always rainbows and butterflies. Okay, I need that. I'm addicted to Red Bull. Okay, so the Medicine Woman Tarot, I finally, ever since I soaped this deck, I've been really enjoying this deck, and I've started to work with the companion book as well, and that one's really good. But this deck just glides now. It's so fun. I think this is my favorite edition of the Medicine Woman Tarot. I think it's perfect the way it is. The cardstock's amazing. It's so raw and it tells many stories. It feels like a family deck for me. I look at these cards and it reminds me of my hometown. I love this card. I love the keywords too. So the companion book is really good. And I'm happy that I'm able to work with the companion book, because before it felt like a drag to work with it, but it's been really fun. So I've been like dabbling with a bunch of decks, but I've been not overdoing it. I would just like pull a card and then I'll read. Or I will just have like a few that I'll do every morning. But just something simple, so I could kind of remember like what I read that day, and so like maybe I would have like 6 decks, but I'd only have 6 cards, so it's not that much. And this deck pairs well with my Noble. It pairs well with this deck. It pairs well with my Grand Tarot Baleen. This was really fun to pair together. And what else? I think it looked really good with this one too, and this one. So this one's very special. It feels so good after I soaped it too. And then what else? Oh, this one. Okay. So this is called The Divine Love. It's on Etsy. I got this on Etsy. It's by Intuitive Moon Oracles, and her name is Vienna. So this is 110 cards, and I believe it's from playing cards with this plastic thing, but this was very affordable. It was $60. That was it. And so this is the first edition, and there's another one. I will link it down below. I'll try to, but I've always been looking for like the all-in-one love oracle, and I think I found it. This is it. I've read for others with this deck, and it's very versatile. So I'll do some readings and it'll be very predictive and very on point. I love how small it is too. So it just feels good in the hands. I think I'm starting to really want to explore playing card decks because their cardstock's amazing. But anyways, there's a second edition. There's one card in here that has a misspelt word. That doesn't bother me that much, but I was very drawn to this first edition. But there's a new one out with new pictures, and it has the same messages, but I'm pretty sure she fixed the correction. But it has everything I need. So, tarot gives me enough. when I'm doing relationship readings, but I just want more depth. I want more details. I want more drama. I want more feelings. And this deck gives me everything that I need. And I only need this deck, really. So yeah, it's very balanced with, pros and negatives, and it's been very on point. I understand. It's intuitively like a good reader. And so I've always wanted a deck like this because if I do professional reading, I think what I would love to do is relationship readings. I think that's what I'm good at, and I think that's where my passion is if I am doing readings. I know some people prefer to do career ones or spiritual ones or transformation ones. And, some people like despise the relationship ones, but I don't. I actually kind of have a lot of empathy and understand. I can put myself in their shoes, and yeah, I love this card. And it's so classy. Like this deck, you know how like there's those decks on Etsy that have like, the public domain photos, and some of them they're like AI and they look really cheesy. Some of them are very dramatic and drama-like. This one's not. This one gives you everything you need to know about a relationship. If you're separated, if you're together, or if you're, different situations. And it reads it out. And I love that it's 110 cards. I love the photos. It just looks like a normal oracle. I definitely will be buying more decks from this creator because I think they're just really good. And I like how they look very Polaroid kind of. So they're really cute to work with. I just love how classy and elegant they look. I don't want a cheesy looking deck that's like Bay or what else? Sus. Or, it has all these funky things. Actually, I kind of want What's the Tea? That oracle with its situations, and it has like marshmallow with X's. I don't know, it was a drawn. That one's super expensive. I have to pay like over $100 to get that deck though. And I think that one's 78 cards. But this is perfect for love readings. It keeps the drama out. It just goes straight to the point. Yeah, very straight to the point. I love these backs. I believe the second edition has like these lips on there. And then I know she has like a different oracle with like it's a situation one with different situations. So I think I want to get that one too. But I'm happy that I have the first edition, although there's a misspelt word in the third party card. The confusion is spelt wrong. But other than that, I love this deck. I love this card stock too. And I believe the second edition has like a better tuck box, and the card stock changed. She made more improvements, but I'm happy I have it. And what else do I want to talk about? Oh, I trimmed my greenie. I don't think I've ever told anybody about this one, showed it, but this is what a trimmed greenie looks like. So this is the one that I wrote all over. I posted on Instagram. Please follow me on Instagram. That's where I do a lot of my photo taking with my cards. But anyway, so I wrote all over this deck, and I made sure not to write on the artwork because if I didn't like what it looked like with writing, I was going to chop it off, which I did. And although that this is a greenie with the green borders chopped off, you could really still see the greens in this deck. It has those green hues, so it's very unique. And I think a greenie is like one of those really good decks to chop up because it's very proportionate. It's very large. I don't know, it's interesting. And I really like working with this deck in the summertime. This deck pairs well with Earth and Bone. These look really good together. First, yeah, but so this deck is fun. It's like having it has like that filter look. It feels very vintage. It feels very summery. It feels good. And I was kind of worried that I wasn't gonna like it because it's cut off like that, but it doesn't bother me. I thought it would, but it doesn't. See, that looks kind of cool, right? And I was thinking about edging this deck. I was thinking about gold. I wanted to try doing like gold foiling. I seen somebody do it, and I think I want to actually test it out on this deck. And then I might put Mod Podge on this deck just to sample it out. Who knows? But look, it looks nice. It looks really cute. If there was a greenie that I would prefer to chop up, because I feel like, so this one, I do like it how it has like those hues, but if I was to pick a deck that I would love to chop up, but I won't, if I have a backup copy of this exact deck, I will definitely chop this one up. But this is the 1978. This one has the best photos, or the art. There's no hues, it's so bright in color, it's so clear. This one has the best coloring. But I'm more of a border kind of girl. I love the borders, so the borders stay. But I do love how these images look, and I would love to see this deck trimmed. I feel like this one's the most realistic when it comes to like the original art in the coloring. I honestly don't feel this, like intuitively, I feel like, you know, these newer versions and this German one don't, that's not the original coloring. I feel like there's something off about it. But this one feels original to me. And it's so like light, there's not like overly saturated, it just feels very natural to me. Nice big artwork. Really pretty colors. And this is like my summer deck. I like to work with this deck too in the summertime because it's so bright and happy. It's very clean. This one is so pretty, so pretty. So detailed. Look at that. And I love this Hierophant. It has like more of like an orangey kind of tone. This one looks beautiful too. And this one. I love this Empress card. See the difference? Not really, can't really see the difference, but these two are both my favorites. I have another 1978, and that one it's more saturated, and I don't really care for that. I used to like that overly saturated look, but I like this more very natural look. Like it's vibrant, but the perfect amount of vibrant. It's not overdoing it. It's just enough. It feels very, I don't know, it just feels very elegant and clean and beautiful. So I'm pretty much done. Yeah, I've been working with this one. I actually ordered the newest Thoth, and I got the small like this. So they do have like the really cool backs. And what I love about this deck too is it's very proportionate. Like it has like the, you know, the sharp edges, and it's very close. So this looks really nice. And then I heard the newest edition isn't aligned, which that's okay, because sometimes it's kind of fun to have a deck that's not perfect, you know? But before I used to get kind of bored with these images, and I felt like they were too pastel-y, but some of the cards are really beautiful. Like this one's really beautiful. You know, I prefer other cards. Some of them look really kind of muddy and pastel. Like this one, I hate this card. They ruined this card in the new edition. And I don't know. And so I was kind of like going back and forth, like, I don't really need the other deck. It's going to look like this one. It's too close, but I'm just going to give it a try. It's a good collectible. I love this card. This one looks really nice. And I thought that maybe I would, yeah, just get the small one because I feel like I have enough larger decks that I use, and I don't need another large Thoth. But I do need some small ones. Some little, I only have 3 now? No, 4. I have 4 small ones. And then I'm gonna have a 5th one, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. Yeah, 5th one. So yeah, I'm starting to actually really like this deck now. But yeah, I was just like, thought I got bored with this deck, and I guess my mind is changing. I'm forever changing. My taste is changing a lot, which is cool, but I still have my handful of favorite decks. I really love how this one has like that really green on there. So thank goodness we are done pretty much. Where's the cap? I'm working with the Weaver's Oracle. I'm taking my time with this one. I did soap this deck too because it was very sticky and it was friction, and I didn't like how it was. It was like chopping up right here, and I didn't like that. But now it's nice and it's nice. It's just, this is like one of the prettiest oracles I've ever seen too, and I am loving the stories. I'm taking my time. I do this like every other day. I'm really drawn to this card because it reminds me of Julian's grandma Barbie, just like an older version of her. And this is my favorite card. I want to read about her. I haven't read about her yet. So I love this deck. I'm happy I'm starting to work with it. But this is a gem. I've been learning about astrology too. And I think I'll do another video about my astrology stuff because this is too long. I got some art supplies. Hold on, I'll show you my art. So I got some paint. I am very expensive. I like high quality paint. This is the professional stuff. This is really nice. So this is like a little palette thing, and it has like a cover on it. So when I'm using my paint, I'm able to close it, and then the paint stays, you know, wet. And that's the one thing that made me stop painting, is because I was so sick of wasting paint because of my son, and I have to like stop all the time. And so now I got smart. And then I got some of these colors. I got some neon colors. I'm very inspired with Carol Herzer stuff, so I want to paint. And then I got this Mod Podge because I was going to fix my Fool card. I got some iridescent Mod Podge. And then there was like a sale, so I ended up getting this tote, and then I got another one, and it was $10 though, so it wasn't that really that good. But then I got some of these too. So this thing's filled with paint. I've been collecting paint for a few years. I have another one over there too with the same brand of this. I don't know what it is, Liquitex. This is a Professional 3 painting, and yeah, I got some fun stuff. These little daughters, those are kind of cool. And some ink, pen ink things. Okay, I think that's it. Yeah, I think I want to do a couple more VRs, and then I want to talk about like what I learned it with astrology with Black Moon Lilith, and talk about mine and my birth chart. And actually I want to talk about like the empty houses. I think that'd be kind of cool. So that's something I've learned. Karen was helping me with that, and that's it. So thank you for watching. Okay, bye.